Welcome back to the deep dive. As we wrap up the year, I thought we'd switch gears a little bit. Today, we're looking at something a little more heartwarming. It's a message from Tibii.
Tibii.
Yeah, the Australian Disability Support Organization.
Oh, great. Yeah.
They've shared this really great end-of-year message, and it's honestly way more than just your typical holiday greeting.
Oh, interesting. What's so different about it?
Well, it's just so full of hope and ambition. It's like they're using this opportunity to really lay out their vision for positive change in the new year.
Huh. I like that. Kind of like reflecting on the past and looking ahead to the future all at once.
Exactly. It's like they're taking this moment to connect with their entire community on a much deeper level, sharing their passion and inviting everyone to be part of the journey with them.
I'm intrigued.
So the message opens with Tibii CEO Puya Farbad extending warm wishes for a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to all stakeholders.
Oh, wow. All stakeholders. That's pretty inclusive.
Right. It sets such a positive and welcoming tone right from the start. And then they go on to express gratitude for the shared journey of 2024, highlighting all the achievements and milestones that they were able to reach through collective effort.
I see. So it's not just about looking ahead, it's about acknowledging the progress that's already been made.
Yeah, exactly. And they talk about expanding their services, which is huge. They've been able to reach more people and broaden their impact in so many different areas.
That's great to hear. But expanding services can be tricky. Sometimes quality can suffer when you try to scale up too quickly.
That's a really good point, and I think Tibii recognizes that too. They actually emphasize the quality of their services right alongside the expansion efforts. They're really dedicated to making sure that every single person gets the best possible support, tailored to their specific needs.
Now that's impressive. It sounds like they're really committed to providing individualized care even as they grow.
Absolutely, and that commitment to individual needs is really reflected in their emphasis on a human rights-based approach.
Now that's something I've always admired about Tibii. They don't just talk about human rights, they really put them at the heart of everything they do.
Right. For them, it's about more than just words. It's about action, prioritizing dignity, respect, and individual empowerment in every single aspect of their work.
I like that. It's about walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
Exactly. And for Tibii, it's all about ensuring that people with disabilities have a voice, they have choices, and they're actively involved in shaping their own lives. Now they are honest about the challenges that still exist.
I was going to say it can't all be sunshine and roses, right? There must be obstacles they still face.
Oh, definitely. They acknowledge that there's still a lot of work to be done to create a truly inclusive and equitable society.
It's good that they're realistic about that, recognizing that systemic change takes time and effort.
Exactly. And that kind of leads into their vision for 2025. They lay out some pretty ambitious goals.
Like what?
Well, they talk about strengthening their commitment to a human rights-based approach, deepening their connections with the community, and expanding their reach even further.
Wow, those are some big goals. But I guess if anyone can achieve them, it's Tibii. They've got such a strong track record.
Right. And what's really cool is that these goals are all directly aligned with their core values. They're not just random aspirations, they're a reflection of their mission to empower individuals and build a truly inclusive culture.
So they're not just chasing after the latest trends. They're staying true to their core principles. I like that.
They're truly dedicated to making a tangible difference in the lives of people with disabilities and their families. And they're inviting everyone to join them on this journey. Now let's take a closer look at some of the specific areas they're planning to focus on in 2025. One thing that really stood out to me is their plan to launch participant-led initiatives.
Well, that's interesting. So it's about giving people with disabilities more control over the services and programs they receive.
Yeah, exactly. It's about moving away from those more traditional models of care and embracing a more collaborative approach, like really putting individuals at the center of everything.
I see. So it's about empowering people to have a say in how their support is delivered.
Exactly. And speaking of giving people a say, they're also really focused on amplifying the voices of people with lived experience.
You mean like making sure that people with disabilities are actually involved in the decision-making processes?
Exactly. They're actively seeking out and integrating the insights of people with disabilities into every level of the organization.
That's so important. I mean, who better to understand the needs and aspirations of people with disabilities than those who have lived it themselves?
Yeah, it makes sense. You can't really develop effective services or advocate for meaningful change if you don't truly understand the perspectives of the people you're trying to help.
Right. And for Tibii, it goes beyond just internal decision-making. They're also talking about advocating for broader systemic change. So they're working to create a more inclusive society at a bigger level, not just within their own organization.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that true inclusion requires action on multiple fronts, from individual empowerment to policy changes and shifts in societal attitudes. And, Tibii is known for putting on these incredible community events, and it seems like they have some even bigger plans for 2025.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about those events. They're supposed to be amazing. What are they thinking of doing?
Well, they're being a little bit mysterious about the specifics, but they're hinting at evolving their approach, building on what's worked in the past and bringing in some new ideas to make the events even more engaging and impactful.
Sounds intriguing. I bet the community is excited to see what they come up with.
Oh, for sure. They're definitely raising the bar and setting a high standard for community engagement. But it's not all about big events and grand gestures.
Right. Real change happens at all levels.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They also talk about the importance of nurturing those smaller day-to-day connections, within their team and with families and carers.
Makes sense. You need strong relationships at every level to create a truly supportive environment.
Right, and they highlight how much they value their staff. You can really tell that they see their employees as the heart and soul of the organization.
That's so important. Recognizing and appreciating the people who are on the front lines making it all happen.
For sure. They express such deep gratitude for their staff's dedication and hard work. And they also acknowledge the crucial role that families and carers play in supporting individuals with disabilities.
It takes a village, right? No one can do it alone.
Absolutely. They talk about working in close collaboration with families and carers to make sure everyone's needs are being met. It's really a holistic approach that recognizes the interconnectedness of the entire support system.
I like that. It's about breaking down silos and working together as a team.
The one more thing I wanted to touch on is Tibii's commitment to continuous learning and improvement. They seem to be always pushing themselves to be better.
It's refreshing to see an organization that's not afraid to admit there's always room for growth. A lot of places just get complacent and stuck in their ways.
Yeah, that's so true. But Tibii is different. They talk about staying at the forefront of best practices in the disability sector, constantly seeking out new knowledge and looking for innovative approaches.
So they're not content to just maintain the status quo. They want to be leaders in the field, always pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Exactly. They're always striving to do better and provide the highest quality support possible, which to me is incredibly inspiring.
Yeah, it shows a real dedication to their mission. They're not just going through the motions. They're truly passionate about making a difference.
Absolutely. Now, before we wrap up this deep dive, I wanted to share one more thing that really stood out to me in Tibii's message.
Okay, I'm curious. What is it?
It's the overall tone.
Oh.
It's just so hopeful and optimistic. It's almost contagious.
Oh, I see what you mean. Even though they acknowledge the challenges that still exist, there's this underlying sense of determination and a belief that positive change is possible.
Yes. It's like they're saying, hey, we know there's a lot of work to do, but we're in this together and we're not giving up.
It's a powerful message, especially in a world that can often feel so overwhelming and negative.
And you know what I find really refreshing is that they don't just dwell on the problems, they offer solutions. Like they're actively inspiring a sense of possibility.
It's not just doom and gloom, it's about hope and empowerment.
Exactly. It's like a breath of fresh air, and it leaves you feeling like, okay, maybe we can actually create a better world.
It's so true. Tibii's message is really a reminder that we all have the power to make a difference. Even small acts of kindness can ripple outwards and create positive change. But we've talked a lot about Tibii and their work. What about everyone else? The people who might not be directly involved with disability support services? What does this message mean for them? That's a great point. Tibii's mission is obviously focused on empowering people with disabilities, but their message has implications for all of us. It makes you think about the kind of world we want to live in, right?
Right. Like what kind of society do we want to be a part of?
Exactly. Do we want a world where only some people thrive? Or do we want a world where everyone has the opportunity to reach their full potential regardless of their background or abilities?
I love that.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing the inherent worth of every individual.
Absolutely. And Tibii's commitment to a human rights-based approach really drives that point home. It's a reminder that everyone deserves to be treated with dignity and respect.
It's about creating spaces where everyone feels welcome and included.
Yeah. And not just tolerated, but truly valued for who they are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, their focus on empowering individuals and fostering a sense of belonging, that's something we can all apply to our own lives.
Right. It's a good reminder that we all have a role to play in building a more inclusive and equitable society. It's not just up to organizations like Tibii, it's on all of us.
I think that's what makes their message so powerful. It's not just about words, it's about action. They're not just talking about making a difference, they're actually doing it.
Right. And their dedication to continuous learning and improvement, it's a challenge to all of us to think critically about our own assumptions and biases and to be open to new ideas and perspectives.
Yeah, we could all stand to learn a thing or two from Tibi's approach.
Definitely. They're setting an example for other organizations and individuals to follow. Their commitment to walking the talk is evident in everything they do, from their service delivery to their advocacy efforts.
It's clear that their passion and dedication are making a real impact on the lives of people with disabilities and their families.
And their vision for the future is so full of hope and possibility, you can really feel that they believe in the power of collective action to create positive change.
Their end-of-year message, it's almost like a breath of fresh air amidst all the holiday chaos.
Yeah, it reminds us that even in the midst of all the hustle and bustle, we can still find ways to contribute to building a more inclusive and compassionate world.
Whether it's through small acts of kindness or more significant efforts to advocate for systemic change, it all adds up.
Every step we take towards creating a more equitable society, it matters. Tibi's journey is an inspiration.
It really is. And I think it's a fitting note to end on as we head into the new year.
Agreed. So as we wrap up this deep dive into Tibi's heartwarming message, let's carry their spirit of hope and determination with us into 2025.
Let's be inspired by their commitment to building a world where everyone has the opportunity to shine. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we wish you a happy and fulfilling new year.